Hi, and welcome to Two Tired Teachers coming at you from
Padre Island National Seashore. And this has been one of the most incredible places we've ever been.
Absolutely.
One of our favorite things is we are literally just parked on the beach for free.
And we can hear the waves from the Gulf all night long. It's wonderful.
But as we looked for information about this place when we were planning this trip, honestly, it was a little confusing. And so we want to try and do what we can to help clarify things for you.
When you're coming in, if you go over the causeway in Corpus Christi, you just keep on driving and you will eventually get to the Padre Island National Seashore.
And you actually enter the national park at that point. Then there are 4 camping options. And there is one that you will come to before you enter the fee station. Okay?
And if you've got water and you don't need to dump your tanks, that one truly is absolutely free.
And that's where we are. But when we came here, we've never stayed on a beach. We have very limited dry camping experience, and so we wanted to talk to a ranger and get as much information about tides, etc. So, and we needed water, and we knew we were going to need to dump our tanks. And so we went through the fee station, and the fee is $10 per day or $20 per week. Or if you have the America the Beautiful Pass or National Park Pass, the entrance fee is free. And so,
and if you don't have it, but you buy it while you're here, they will deduct your $20 or $10 from the cost of the pass.
So, to be clear, there is one place that you can park on the beach. You are still in the national park, and it's patrolled by national park rangers. We've seen a number of them up and down the beach, and it's completely free.
It is 1 mile
of beach camping.
And it is, before you get to that fee station, it's the North Beach.
But what we did was we went through the fee station so that we could get the water, etc. The next area that you come to that you can camp at is the
Bird Basin.
Bird Basin, and
windsurfing.
We found out since we've been here, this is one of the premier windsurfing locations in the country. The basin is extremely shallow, and there is camping there, and the fee for that, I believe, is $8. And a lot of people were down there camping.
And windsurfing.
And windsurfing, yes. There is a pro shop kind of thing there.
And they will give windsurfing lessons if you want to learn it. And I think they rent equipment. I'm not sure. But
yes, they do. Once again, let us talk for a second before we get to the other 2 camping options. The advantage to going through that fee station. One, you get you get to go to the visitor center, you get to pick up all kinds of information, you get access to potable water. We were able to go in there, fill up our freshwater tank. We'll have a place where we can go for a dump station. You gain access to flush toilets. Here on the beach, there is nothing.
And to vault toilets.
And to vault toilets, and to showers. I think they're cold rinse-off showers, but you're on a beach, so that's helpful. But you gain access to the ranger programs and all of that kind of stuff. And so there is an advantage to that. All of the camping here is dry camping.
Yes.
So
whether you're paying the fee at Bird Basin or another one we're going to talk about, you're still dry camping.
Right. So the people that you see camping out at that Bird Basin, they're paying $8 a night for that parking lot. But they're out there, we're windsurfing, and if you're a windsurfer, it would be worth it to be right there on that location. Then as you continue south, the next area you come to is the
Malaquite, I think.
Is how it's pronounced. And that is where the potable water is located, and the dump station. And once you pay, even though we're camping here, because we've paid the entrance fee, we have access to all of that. They have flush toilets at that campground, but as you can see, it is a parking lot. You do get a picnic table.
Yes.
And you're parked on a solid surface.
Yes,
it's not
it's
beach.
asphalt or something like that. And I think there are maybe 6 or 8 sites reserved just for tents.
And all of those sites are first come, first serve. And the fee for that camping area is $14 per night. And so if you want to go there,
Reason some people might want to go there where they might be able to see the water. I don't think you can see the beach from there, is because it is on asphalt. You're not on sand.
and so if you're concerned about that, we've seen some large rigs on this beach and on the South Beach. But, you know, if someone's concerned about that, that would be one reason they might be there. Another is, my guess is, it's not quite as windy there, and it may not be quite as loud because you're behind the sand dunes. And so, you know, and having the flush toilets
Yes.
right there. And literally the dump station is right as you go into that campground.
Yes.
All of these camping areas are close proximity to the road, because we're on a really
Sure.
narrow little island here. The Bird Basin was further off because it was
Yes.
going toward the lagoon side. The next thing you'll pass will be the visitor center, and it's what you would expect at a national park visitor center.
It has a huge deck area.
That's covered.
It has an observation area.
It has an information area. It has a little bookstore shopping area. They sell
There's
ice.
a little auditorium where they can do programs, and
They do have vending machines, and that reminds me, there's a sign as you're coming on out that highway, Park Road 22, where it says the last place for gasoline is here. There are no services down here.
No.
There's no gas. There's no shopping of any kind. So if you need anything, you have to go back into
Padre or Corpus or
to get anything. But there are vending machines at that visitor center. And so, and you can get your passport book stamped there. And then the third and final place that you can, Malaquite was the third. The fourth place that you can camp is the South Beach. And that's where we plan to camp.
you stay on that Park Road 22 until you hit sand, and that's how you know you're there.
Literally, that bridge that came over the causeway, just keep going until it becomes sand and you're on the South Beach.
The first 5 miles are for two-wheel drive. The last 55 miles are for four-wheel drive. Texas has the longest.
Texas has more coastline than any other state except for Florida. It's on the Gulf, but we have a lot of shore, and there's more than one place that you can camp for free.
Yes.
But the South Beach, we'd actually planned to stay there, and we got down there and realized we hadn't filled our fresh water tank. And when we got to the edge of it, it may be the season that we're here, I don't know, but there was a lot of really loose sand as you went in. And since we'd never driven on I don't know that I'd ever driven on a beach without towing a vehicle.
Yes.
I wanted to be pretty cautious, and there was a pretty good area where we were that I knew with this little short trailer I could back it around. And so we went back up, filled up with water, and ultimately came to the North Beach. And as we were coming in, we saw a couple of big RVs right here as we turned in, and so we felt much better about our ability to navigate on this beach.
Plus, the North Beach just seemed to be, you had more space between you and the Gulf.
And granted, by the time we filled up the tanks and got turned around and got here, the tide probably had gone out. But we did go back down and drove on the South Beach when we weren't hitched. And honestly, we fishtailed a little as we were going across that soft sand going in. But like I said, we saw some large rigs, we saw
Yes.
some small rigs, we see people in tents, etc. And so those are the 4 camping options
In the
in the national park
yes
area. And hopefully that's clarified it. Camping on the South Beach is free, but you have to pay the entrance fee into the national park. If you're staying at either of those other camping areas, and I believe both of those are first come, first serve, you're paying the entrance fee along with
Yes.
the camping fees. And so, like I said, it was a little bit confusing when we were looking at it, but that explains that.
And if you're down in Corpus, you do have another option for camping.
Not right
Not
now.
right now, as of March 2019, but it is the Mustang Island, Texas State Park. Right now, they're doing some renovations there. The hurricane last year caused, year before last?
Last year. Well, recently.
That hurricane,
But we drove down there. We didn't get the camera out because the camping area was closed, but we could see, and we did get a map, and it's a parking lot.
yes, you have beach access, but you cannot see the beach from where
From
you
the parking
park.
lot. But they do have electricity. This is our first real trip. We had 2 nights boondocking or dry camping before we got here, and this were actually our boondocking. We're just parked on the beach. It is so cool. Some of our favorite things that we've been able to do while we're here, the wildlife. You're going to see little holes, and those are actually for little crabs. And someone had talked about these before, and I looked at them, and I was honestly, I didn't know. I hadn't been here, so I'm going to go in and tell you. So if you think the same thing, now some of you are going to laugh at me, but that's okay. I was afraid, oh no, they're going to come out and attack me. No. The only pictures I've gotten have had to be out the windows, because if they hear or sense someone is there, they scurry down in their little holes.
And they're called little ghost crabs. Some of them are almost translucent, just see-through.
But we've seen some that were teeny tiny. We've seen some that are pretty decent size.
Others are dark. They're a slate gray kind of.
I've seen a white lizard. Haven't gotten a picture of him yet. Saw a prairie dog this morning. Was really surprised at that. And I'm going to get pictures of they're jellyfish or man-o'-war, but it's a translucent blue. Honestly, when I first saw them, I thought they were water balloons. This is the week after spring break. Texas has had 2 weeks of spring break, and so this beach has been used a lot. And I thought kids down here, throwing water balloons, and they just didn't get exploded. And then I looked again and thought, no, that doesn't look quite like a water balloon. But you want to stay away from those. I will get pictures of them so you can see them, but
Sharon told me that she read, even after they are dead, those tentacles can still sting.
yeah, and so
so-
they do have a first aid station at that visitor center, so if you get stung by something, you can go up there. But that's been fun. But my favorite thing has been all of the birds. We have seen just flocks of whatever they are, pelicans or what, they're not called that, but I don't know, birds but it's been cool watching them. But my favorite was the other morning, we're sitting out having breakfast, and these birds are out there just fishing. I mean, you can see little splashes coming up as they are diving down,
Yes.
catching their breakfast as well. And we're able to sit here at the edge, we're sitting outside in our sweat clothes because it was cold, having our coffee, eating our breakfast, watching these birds out there fishing. That was just so cool. This has been so much fun, and wouldn't take for it. This is
It's part of the reason we wanted the smaller trailer. It is
part of the reason why we wanted to dry camp, is to learn how to do this so that we can come to places like this that we don't have access to otherwise. And being here where we're hearing the surf all night long, and it's just been really cool. Now,
a downside.
There are some negatives, and we're going to be honest about that. But we don't want you to think the negatives in any way overshadow the positives.
We're about through with the trip, and we do not regret coming here. We're thrilled we got to come here.
And we are going to have a video about kind of our first few nights of boondocking, and this will be a part of this trip. So if you are not yet dry camping, or if you are and you want to see all of our mistakes, watch that one. But the negatives, as soon as we leave here, we're going to a car wash. We got to find one that will accommodate the RV, because you're on a beach. There's sand and there's salt.
Yes.
And so we need to get that washed off of the RV and the truck as soon as possible. Honestly, I'm going to wait and do a thorough washing on the truck when I get home, where I have access to free vacuums. But we're going to go somewhere. We will have spent 3 nights here. This is going to be our last night here. Like the ball on the truck has started, it shows a little rust. No, it's not going to rust through, but we're in a salty environment.
Yes.
So that kind of thing.
And the sand.
Sand is everywhere.
There's sand inside, there's sand outside on things.
The side that is against the dunes, the breeze is coming off of the Gulf, but it kind of stirs up that sand, and it just deposits on any surface that it gets. Before we pull the slide in, I'm going to go out with a broom and sweep off the rails that it comes in on. I'm going to climb on the roof and sweep the rails on top, because I want that to work as good as it possibly can. May even take some rags and kind of wipe off any salt that may be on there as well. Get it as clean as I can. We did just go to Academy and bought a cheap tarp.
Yes.
And put down, so that we had that to step on and kind of kick and we've swept it off a couple times, and I think that has really helped keeping sand
out of the trailer.
It hasn't kept sand out, but we haven't gotten as much in as we would have if we hadn't had that. So, if you're a germaphobe and that's going to bother you, then the campground that's not actually on the beach might be a choice for you. But just want to let you know that is there. And I have been shocked. This is the end of March. Tomorrow is her birthday. I don't know, it'll be June before this video gets loaded, but March 28th.
I'll be good at being 60.
My much older sister. But
barely older.
I have been shocked at how cool it is here.
Yes.
I mean, there have been people out there swimming, and it's
way too cold.
Way too cold. In the mornings and evenings, we've been wearing sweatsuits when we sit outside, and last night made a cup of decaf to drink while, some coffee while we were sitting out there enjoying. It's just so cool. And one thing that was super neat, I know we were supposed to talk about negatives, but there's been so much more positive. If you stop at the visitor center, one other thing they're going to give you is a tide chart, which is kind of neat, because we can kind of plan. We're going to leave at low tide, so we have more room to make our U-turn and exit. But it also tells you sunrise and sunset. Being June, that's not real late either side. It's not like we were here in the middle of the summer. But getting up and seeing sunrise this morning was just, this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. I mean, it was so awesome. And to see a flock of birds flying past, and it was just, wow, that was so cool. But it's been much cooler here than
at home.
Yes. And I'm sure that part of that is just because of this constant breeze. When I say breeze, I mean wind. There's been a pretty good wind coming off of the Gulf.
And if you're here in the summer, every bit of that moisture we're getting, it's kind of dank here, is going to be so humid.
You'll never get dry.
No.
You'll feel, we're used to Texas humidity. It's humid here. Matter of fact, this morning, not early morning, but we got ready to go somewhere, and the windshield was just, there was a film on it. And it's on the truck, it's on the RV as well. and it's kind of that salty grit, I guess. I don't know what else to call it. So, you know, that's kind of part of the adventure. We will close this out showing you that we actually do get off of the beach, that we're able to make that U-turn, or we're probably going to have to back and circle around a couple of times. But we'll get off the beach and we'll get to a car wash. And so it didn't turn out to be exactly free, because we're going to spend maybe $10, $15 at a car wash, but 3 nights on the beach. One other thing before we close out. As you drive into the beach area, they have a sign that says take out more than you bring in, and that you can go up to the visitor center and they will give you trash bags, and you can walk the beach and pick up trash. The beaches look, I was shocked. Like I said, we've had 2 weeks of spring break. The beaches have been remarkably a lot cleaner than I thought they would be. And even though they looked really clean, once I got out there and started walking with a trash bag, I was shocked at how much stuff I was able to pick up.
Fishing line and
Toothbrush.
plastic and
yeah, there was shoe soles. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. And so, to me, that was, I know it sounds weird, but that was kind of fun, because I felt like I was giving back. You know, they're letting us stay here for free.
Sure.
And so,
But there is one more thing. It's about camping, and that is when you enter whichever campground you enter, there will be a little kiosk, a little wooden building, and you need to stop there
Shack.
and register.
We missed it the first night. Didn't
Yeah.
see it was there, because we were looking for where to stop, and we were concerned about not driving on a beach before.
But there is the kiosk, and that's where you'll put down your name and your tag numbers. And when you got here, they're doing that to make sure you don't overshoot the 14-day limit.
And that is, you know, if you're full-timing and looking for somewhere inexpensive, it is free camping here for 14 nights. Then you have to completely take all of your stuff and vacate for 48 hours, I think it
Yes.
said. But anyway, but they do want your information, your tag number, your driver's license number, that kind of stuff. And then you fold it where that doesn't show. But you put it on your windshield so that they have a record of your being here. We hope you've enjoyed our look at Padre Island
We've certainly enjoyed it.
National Seashore. It's been in our backyard all our lives, and we've never been here. So, thanks for watching.
Two tired teachers.